Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're doing a deep dive into the frankly chaotic military escalations unfolding right now in the Middle East. We're going to start small, looking at the immediate localized violence happening in the waterways, and then we're going to zoom way out to look at the massive macro shifts that are literally reshaping global geopolitics as we speak. Let's get right into it.
Okay, so here's the roadmap for this explainer. 1. The crisis in the Strait. 2. U.S. military retaliation. 3. Who is running Iran? And 4. A new regional alliance.
Section 1. Crisis in the Strait.
It's wild just how fast this whole thing unraveled. Day 1, we see an attack on a commercial ship sailing out of Cyprus, right across the Strait of Hormuz. Then by day 2, things escalate. A fire immobilizes the ship, and tragically, an Indian crew member goes missing. Now, this localized destruction triggered an immediate international ultimatum, demanding the waterway be reopened. But by day 3, that deadline was completely ignored.
And this brilliantly illustrates the totally conflicting realities between the major military powers over this incredibly critical global trade route. On one hand, you have the U.S. Central Command officially declaring the international waterway is open for transit and guaranteeing its security. But on the exact same day, Iran declares the absolute opposite, claiming the Strait of Hormuz is completely closed. It's literally two different versions of reality.
Moving on to Section 2, U.S. military retaliation. So, following that ignored deadline, the Pentagon didn't wait around. They authorized a highly coordinated mix of sea and land-based fighter jets, drones, and naval munitions. And their tactical targets, they were hyper-specific. They aimed squarely at degrading Iran's missile and drone sites, their naval capabilities, and key military surveillance hubs.
To understand the U.S. administration's official stance on this retaliation, we just need to look at this statement from Pete Hegseth. He posted, "Iran made a poor choice, now they pay." Honestly, that pretty much sums up the administration's stated justification for proceeding with such immediate, forceful military action right after the commercial ship attack and the attempted closure of the strait.
But here's the thing you really need to take away from this. The violence is definitely not staying neatly contained between just U.S. and Iranian targets. The conflict is spreading, and it's spreading fast. For example, Kuwait just confirmed that they've experienced hostile aircraft strikes hitting their border crossings, and even an oil rig. Now, interestingly enough, Iranian news agencies claim these strikes were actually targeting U.S. missile-launching hardware in those areas. Whatever the case, it shows exactly how fast a localized strike can bleed into neighboring sovereign territories.
Which brings us to Section 3. Who is running Iran? To really wrap our heads around the erratic behavior we're seeing on the ground, we have to look past the military hardware for a second and ask one absolutely crucial question. Who is actually running the show in Iran right now?
Now, what's really interesting here is a fascinating observation from former U.S. Ambassador to NATO, Matt Whitaker. He said, and I quote, "The folks that are shooting missiles need to make sure they are coordinating with the people who are negotiating. My sense is they are not." This really shines a spotlight on what looks like a highly dangerous disconnect happening deep inside Tehran.
So you essentially have two entirely different faces of the Iranian government operating at the exact same time. On one side, you have the diplomats actively sitting at the negotiating table. But on the other side, you've got the military, specifically the IRGC and the Quds Force, just launching these asymmetric attacks. Analysts are looking at this and thinking, well, this is either a massive, dangerous leadership vacuum or it's a highly calculated good cop, bad cop stalling tactic.
All right, Section 4, a new regional alliance.
As we saw earlier with Kuwait, the surrounding nations are taking heavy hits. And this is vital to understand. This conflict is absolutely not just between the U.S., Israel, and Iran anymore. These asymmetric attacks have successfully struck oil and gas pipelines, plus major facilities across multiple sovereign nations. We're talking Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Bahrain, and Jordan. These actions aren't just a local spat. They are directly threatening the global energy supply and, frankly, antagonizing nearly every single neighbor in the vicinity.
So, the crucial point is this. By launching attacks in basically all directions, Tehran's asymmetric warfare has done something surprising. It's actually united its neighbors against it. We are now seeing the rapid, real-time formation of the ART-4 alliance. That's Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Egypt, and Pakistan. And their shared goal? To build a brand new regional security infrastructure that operates entirely outside of Tehran's influence. I mean, that is a monumental shift in regional power dynamics.
Think about it. We have gone from a single, immobilized ship in a waterway all the way to the complete rewiring of a region's geopolitical alliances.
Which leaves us with this final thought. With Tehran becoming increasingly isolated by its own neighbors, what does the new security landscape of the Middle East actually look like going forward? It is a huge question, and it's one that will define global security for years to come. Thanks for joining me on this Explainer today, and as always, keep seeking out the facts.